What if there were a way for you to have your own home, but not feel so alone? In today's senior affordable housing option video, we're talking about co-housing communities. This is an option that is linked somewhat to the Golden Girls shared housing option, also living with family and friends. They're not all the same. That's why I'm doing different videos about these, but they all do, including this one, co-housing communities, require a bit of a trade-off here and there. Let's get started and see if this option might be something you'd consider. Let me explain quickly what co-housing is. It has a lot of different configurations, but co-housing is basically living not necessarily with other people, but near them. It's an intentional way of living that offers a community. That is the biggest factor, and the biggest thing a lot of people are looking for is a community. They may not have family or friends nearby. When we get older, people start dying, people that we love. That could be family or friends, it could be a spouse, children, sisters, brothers, friends that you've had a long time, or even new friends. That's a possibility. People move away. There's just all kinds of factors that might contribute to someone wanting to live in a co-housing community. So some of the pros of living in a co-housing community. Again, it's a built-in community. Generally in a co-housing community, whether it's a senior community, multi-generational, whatever it is, people want to be there. They know what they're getting into, and they want that on purpose. They want the community where there's people around to kind of help or just to offer companionship. Another pro is you can possibly have your own private home, but a shared connection with people nearby, your neighbors. The neighbors may become friends. They may just be acquaintances that you can rely on and that they can rely on you. It's a community. Many older people feel isolated. They are less able to get out and do as many things as they once were, so they're home more and they feel maybe trapped in their home. They don't have many visitors. They don't have a lot of people around to even talk to. So it can reduce the sense of isolation. One of the co-housing pluses or pros is shared amenities. Sometimes you may have, depending on the setup or the configuration of your co-housing community, you might be able to reduce a lot of expenses that you would normally have if everyone owned their own single family home or condo, townhouse, apartment, whatever it might be. Sharing resources is a big plus. A big pro of a co-housing community is neighbors helping each other. This could be with rides to the grocery store or the doctor, just to run errands. It could be sharing meals. It could be helping with lawn care or gardening, minor fixes around the house. If someone's sick, they could offer to help take out the trash or walk a pet, walk a dog, or come in and feed a bird or a cat when someone is perhaps in the hospital or just ill and not able to do these things. Co-housing offers sustainability, shared resources, simplicity, and perhaps multi-generational support, depending on the community. Let's talk about the cons or the negatives of possibly living in a co-housing community. There might be less anonymity. If you value your privacy and really don't want a lot of interaction with neighbors, this may not be the option for you, because that is sort of the whole point of a co-housing community, is people living together and helping one another and wanting to. Community involvement is usually not necessarily required, but expected, possibly required. People want to work together in co-housing communities for the most part, help each other out in whatever way they can. If this is something that you're not interested in, then just skip the co-housing possibility. A co-housing community isn't necessarily affordable. It can be very pricey. If you look online, just Google co-housing communities, you will find a gambit of places. And some of them are very expensive, I think. $300,000 or more to buy a home in a community. That's not affordable for most people, certainly not for me. And this is something, a lot of research would need to be done to find the right community that is affordable. Or perhaps starting a community. That might be the best way to keep it affordable from the start. If all of this type of research and preparation isn't your thing, then that's good to know. Someone who doesn't like rules or group dynamics, just getting involved with their neighborhood, probably isn't going to appreciate the co-housing philosophy. There is a definite limited inventory of affordable co-housing options out there. This is something that is certainly a con or a negative. Like any other affordable housing option, there just isn't enough of it in the US right now. And the bottom line is, some people just don't want that much community on a day-to-day basis. If that's the case, then co-housing is probably not the best option for you. Co-housing is not automatically affordable, unfortunately. And existing co-housing options are often way out of my price range for sure, and probably a lot of people who are watching this. We're looking at a price range of $1,000 to $1,500 total. That's not just for housing, that's for everything. And keeping the housing portion low enough so that you can also have a life and live and not have to scrimp and save every penny is what these co-housing communities can offer if they're set up right. And one of those options may be setting it up yourself. Perhaps people going together, buying a building that is empty that could be converted into housing. It could be an existing house, apartment building, a commercial building that could be retrofitted to make it work so that people could have perhaps their own bedroom and bathroom and then share a kitchen and living space. There are all kinds of options. If somebody purchases land and they bring the utilities in, everybody could bring in their own, perhaps RV or tiny home or a small house, a kit house or something that they build and put there to keep it affordable. And if you're all working together from the beginning, it can be decided what the lot rent would be so that it's not astronomical. Mobile homes are generally affordable, but the lot rent is not. From what I've seen, anything $700 and up for just the lot rent, I think is very expensive. And starting your own co-housing option might be the way to go. You can also share different amenities in a co-housing community, like a lawnmower so that everybody doesn't need one, a workshop, put tools in there that everybody can use so that everybody doesn't have to go out and buy everything themselves. They can be shared. There might be a guest room somewhere on the property where guests could come and stay. If you wanted to have a family member or friend come, but you don't have a room in your place, There could be a guest room available. A small fee might apply for somebody to stay there. There are just lots of options. Depending on the setup of a co-housing community, you might have fewer repairs because, like, there's one roof perhaps rather than lots of small roofs or something. And these costs and the burden of fixing them could be shared by the whole community. So let's talk about some of the different options for co-housing communities. The first is senior communities. This could be older couples. It could be a widowed or divorced or just single people. It can be any configuration. It could be two friends who want to live somewhere together, but they also need help keeping it affordable. All of these are just some of the ideas of people who might want to be in a senior co-housing community. It could be private condos or homes clustered together. It could be a shared common house. You could offer community meals, perhaps once a month, where one or two people work together to cook a meal for the whole community. There can be transportation rides available to people who can't drive or don't own a car. There are support networks in place, and all of this needs to be discussed up front with what the community is really going to be all about. But just being there for each other can be a huge selling point, basically, of a co-housing option. Some people who are elderly may want an aging in place option where they might get a little help from friends or neighbors to allow them to stay in their home longer than they could if they were just isolated by themselves. Another co-housing option is multi-generational co-housing communities. This would be where any age could live there if this is agreed upon. It could be young families with children. It could be older couples, single people of all ages who just value connection and community. Some older adults want to be around kids and younger people. It helps them feel connected and alive. If this is not your preference, then a multi-generational housing option may not be right for you. Another option would be purchasing homes nearby that are either next door or just in the really close vicinity, and people moving there to be in this community, this built-in community of neighbors who really want to help each other. This could also involve, you could have a tiny home community as a co-housing option. I'm going to be doing a video about that coming up, and I'll speak more about tiny homes and the communities then. But this might be a perfect option. Someone buys some land, everybody brings their tiny home, and they pay a smaller lot rent than a mobile home or RV park might charge. And they have the built-in community. So basically, in all of these options, all of these co-housing community options, the main idea is the community. The location and the house itself or the dwelling may not be as important as the community and the people involved in it. So who is co-housing really for? It may be a good fit for single adults who are 50 plus or 60 plus, whatever you decide, who don't want to live alone. They want the connection of a community. It could be for widowed or divorced people who feel like they're missing out with not having a partner there. For retirees who just want a little more connection than feeling isolated in their own home and not knowing a lot of their neighbors. People who are open to relationships and sharing rather than having the nicest house on the block might fit well in a co-housing community. Again, the bottom line is the community. It's the sharing, the connection that is made by knowing other people in your community have the same values, they're like-minded, they want the connection that a co-housing community would provide. Co-housing may not be a good fit if you really value your privacy and anonymity. You don't really want to know all your neighbors, and you don't want them knowing all your business, perhaps. Some people don't mind. They love sharing everything or sharing whatever they choose to share and love having that community aspect. But not everybody does, and that's okay. Anyone who feels drained by a lot of social interaction, that's me. I'm an introvert, and this I don't think would be the best option for me. I like people, but I don't need to be around them every day or often, basically. I mean, being an introvert means you get drained by other people. An extrovert thrives on it. It feeds them. To me, it zaps my energy in general. And that's something you need to know about yourself. You know, what do you really like? What makes you happy? You want to control everything about where you live and how you live. Living in a standalone condo, apartment, home is probably the best option for you because co-housing communities have rules and guidelines and ways of doing things that you may not agree with or want to even think about having in your life. Some people hear the term intentional community, which is what a lot of co-housing options are, and they just feel tired. It's not for them. So this bottom line is, if you don't like group projects, you probably won't want to live in a co-housing community. I'm going to put some resources up here on the screen for you to check out. Please feel free to pause the video and take a screenshot or, a picture so that you can refer to these later and do a little more research on your own. There are Facebook groups. You can just search for co-housing communities, shared housing, those types of keywords, and you'll find all sorts of groups on Facebook or elsewhere, other social media perhaps, where people are talking about this, starting their own communities or wanting to join an existing community. There are all kinds of things out there that you can just start researching if this appeals to you. There are also some national organizations where I'll put the name of those for you to check out if you'd like to. Let me know in the comments if this sounds good to you, or if it's just a hard no. No, thank you. We're all different, and we all have different ideas of what will work for us, and that's a good thing. It would be pretty boring if we were all the same. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.